President Trump is saying the U.S. is taking in trillions of dollars from tariffs, but there are questions as to whether the higher duties are actually benefiting the economy.
Automakers caught in the crosshairs of the trade war, and that is putting big pressure on a company like Toyota.
Japan's equivalent of Detroit, to see how these tariffs will impact Japan and Americans buying cars.
Tariffs are shaking the U.S. auto industry, and the $13 billion shockwave is just the beginning. The U.S. automotive market is under heavy strain, and the driving force isn't fuel prices or demand. It's tariffs. These costs ripple through every link of a supply chain, hitting both prices and jobs at the same time. For Toyota and Honda, the burden is climbing toward double-digit billions, affecting not just imported cars, but any vehicle built with imported parts. Short-term, price lists are being rewritten. Medium-term, jobs and market balance are on the watch list. Long-term, Washington's next move could decide everything. Toyota has already shifted to gradual price hikes to soften the blow, costs that land straight on U.S. assembly lines. Why $13 billion matters. Every part that crosses the border is hit with import tariffs. Even cars assembled in America carry this hidden cost, because thousands of parts still come from overseas. Honda faces the same dilemma: raise prices and risk sales, or protect volume and lose margins. Three options, no easy wins. Pass costs to customers immediately. Raise prices slowly and squeeze margins. Absorb the hit internally, crippling small suppliers. Let's break it down in today's video. Note, this video is an independent analysis based on public sources. It does not represent any organization or political stance. We encourage you to think critically and share your thoughts in the comments. The pain isn't limited to Toyota and Honda. GM, Ford, and Stellantis also rely on imported parts. And while big trucks and SUVs can bear higher prices for a while, buyers still have a limit: their monthly payment threshold. Once that's crossed, sales stall, dealers slow down, and job pressure grows. Fleet plans, delivery schedules, and financing terms are all being reworked. Smaller suppliers, with less capacity, face the biggest risk. Delays multiply, costs creep higher, and every adjustment in the price-volume margin triangle comes with trade-offs. Calls for localizing production sound good on paper, but raw material limits, factory constraints, and quality testing make it a slow, costly process. In short, tariffs aren't just a trade policy. They're a $13 billion ticking clock for the U.S. auto market. How tariffs, prices, and delays are reshaping the U.S. auto market. America's car market is at a turning point. From tariffs to EV batteries, every decision in Washington now ripples across showrooms, supply chains, and even your next car payment. While a proposed 15% limit on auto imports offers some relief, real change is on hold until the exact rules and dates are confirmed. Dealers, suppliers, and buyers are left waiting, uncertainty keeping prices unstable and planning difficult. Clear, simultaneous announcements could restore confidence, cut supply chain waste, and stabilize pricing. Without it, mismatched costs and volumes will keep the market shaky. Electric vehicles face their own challenge. With heavy reliance on imported batteries, microchips, and electronics, tariffs pile onto costs. Even with incentives, the market is still searching for the right balance between pricing and demand. Some automakers are expanding hybrid lineups, but tariff pressure remains since key components still come from abroad. U.S. buyers want simple, transparent answers, especially when prices rise or deliveries lag. Strong, consistent communication builds trust, and that trust drives sales. The impact doesn't stop at cars. Rising steel and aluminum costs are pushing up factory prices and affecting industries beyond automotive. Market expectations are shifting production schedules, promotions, and even hiring decisions. When the tariff calendar is clear, automakers can plan better. When it's not, supply chains slow, costs climb, and buyers pay more. Trade ties with Canada and Mexico under USMCA help shape planning, but added tariffs and unclear classifications can make parts more expensive before they even reach U.S. soil. Clear documentation and process rules keep goods moving. Without them, stock plans collapse and prices jump again. Jobs also hang in the balance. Factory slowdowns risk layoffs, hitting small suppliers first. Many survive only with advance payments and OEM support. Without it, quality and delivery suffer. Marketing has shifted too. Buyers now expect straight answers, not flashy slogans. If prices go up or parts are late, they want to know why fast. Short, honest explanations, backed by matching messages from sales and service teams. Keep customers loyal. And in today's market, loyalty is everything. Company management is advancing in the U.S. market with a strategic three-pronged approach: tiered pricing, supply chain diversification, and flexible capacity. Together, these three pillars create a well-rounded framework for navigating uncertainty, mitigating risks, and maintaining competitiveness in a constantly shifting environment. Tiered pricing, for instance, is not just about charging different amounts for different products. It's a calculated method to ease consumers into higher costs without causing a sudden shock to demand. By gradually adjusting prices, companies protect their profit margins while giving customers time to adapt, a crucial factor in a market as sensitive to consumer confidence as the United States. Supply chain diversification, on the other hand, is a defensive move designed to reduce dependency on a single source or supplier. In a world where geopolitical tensions, trade disputes, and natural disasters can disrupt manufacturing overnight, spreading sourcing across multiple countries and regions ensures that a single breakdown doesn't cripple operations. However, diversification is not as simple as signing contracts with new suppliers. It often requires setting up or partnering with new factories, ensuring that these facilities meet rigorous quality standards, and obtaining the necessary regulatory approvals. This process is both costly and time-consuming, yet it is vital for building resilience. The third pillar, flexible capacity, allows companies to adapt production quickly, shifting resources between models or adjusting manufacturing shifts to respond to changing demand patterns. This agility is especially important in the U.S. automotive sector, where trends in vehicle size, fuel efficiency, and technology adoption can change rapidly. When these three factors work in harmony, they spread market risk across multiple points, easing the pressure on consumer pricing and creating a more controlled environment for business operations. The ultimate goal is to prevent abrupt disruptions in the U.S. market and keep price changes gradual and manageable. Yet, even the best strategies cannot fully shield the market from the reality of tariffs. In simple terms, tariffs are taxes placed on imported goods, and they directly raise the cost of doing business. For manufacturers, this means higher input costs, which inevitably trickle down to the consumer. Media coverage often frames this in complex economic terms, but the bottom line is straightforward. Tariffs raise costs, and these costs lead to higher prices at the retail level. In the U.S., many consumers base their purchasing decisions on monthly payments rather than the full sticker price, meaning even a small increase in cost can influence whether someone chooses to buy now or wait. When customers hesitate, demand slows, and companies respond by scaling back production plans, which in turn affects employment. This is where the concept of domestic market multipliers comes into play. When fewer people are employed or working overtime, their spending in other areas decreases, which ripples through the broader economy. That's why businesses and economists alike emphasize the importance of a clear tariff calendar from Washington and the U.S. administration. Without a predictable timeline for when tariffs will change or be lifted, companies tend to adopt a wait-and-see approach, holding off on major investments and expansion plans. Unfortunately, this cautious attitude can increase costs in its own way, as delayed decisions often require expedited actions later, which are almost always more expensive. In today's U.S. market, the rising cost of electricity and energy is becoming a silent force reshaping entire industries. Factories rely on power for everything, from running massive machinery to protecting delicate production environments with precise climate control. But when energy prices spike, whether from seasonal demand surges, fuel shortages, or sudden policy shifts, the pressure on production mounts fast. Every increase in energy cost chips away at profit margins and pushes consumer prices higher. Even a short power disruption can throw production off schedule, slowing output, delaying deliveries, and frustrating customers. Over time, delays change how people view a product. Less accessible, less reliable, which can weaken brand loyalty and make consumers more sensitive to price. The automotive industry is living proof of these pressures. With cargo volumes worth billions, every cost increase, whether from tariffs, steel and aluminum prices, or energy expenses, has a ripple effect. Industry leaders agree that transparency is the best relief. Knowing when and how tariffs will change allows for gradual price adjustments and smart supply chain moves. Without it, uncertainty reigns, and another wave of price hikes could hit not just cars, but steel, electronics, advertising, and beyond. The question now is whether Washington will give the market the clarity it needs, or keep the industry in a holding pattern where companies are forced to react instead of lead. For many, that answer will determine whether they race ahead or fall behind. This was just the beginning. Hit that subscribe button and buckle up. Digital Garage has so much more in store.